29.
28.
27.
26.
25.
24.
23.
22. 21.
20.
19.
18.
17.
16.
15.
14.
13. 12.
11.
10.
8.
6.
6. What happened to 7?
7.
5.
4.
3.
2. 1.
0.
Hey, look over here. Look who's here. Look at that. What is that? What is that? What is that? Hi, little man. Oh, you almost slipped. Everybody's watching you. You see? Look over here. Come here. Come here. Look over here. There you go. See, look at that. That's you. There you go. Hi, everybody. This is Chunk. Chunk is the newest channel mascot. And he's just a lot of fun. Aren't you? So he's probably pretty tired. It's been a long day. All we did was play all day. I didn't film anything. The video you guys got today was already up, was already done. Oh, wasn't it? Wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah. So he is a lot of work. Tomorrow I have to do some filming tomorrow. You're sleepy, huh? He's looking at me like, what are you talking? Who are you talking to? So yeah. Did Shopcat kick his ass today? Shopcat kind of got fed up with him a couple times today. He gave you some swats, didn't he? He did. Oh, are you sleepy? I think he's getting sleepy. But yeah, Shopcat let him know that he had enough of his shit a couple times today. But you just want to play with him, don't you? You just want to play with Shopcat. So 2A Dave is in the live chat on the Rumble side of the house. I will be doing Rumble tonight as well. I'll probably do an hour and a half here and then an hour over at what? What do you want? You want up? There you go. There you go. There you go. You're sleepy. I think I'm gonna have to send him in though. He is tired. He's been playing all day today. We spent all day today together. I did edit a video for the members of the first day when we picked him up and everything. So but everybody's here. Thomas is here. Make Chunk do the truffle shuffle. Well, we have to get him a small little man's Hawaiian shirt for that. So, guys, it's been a while. I know that you guys get tired of hearing it. Just don't forget, super chats are available. I appreciate all the support for the channel, all the paying members and everything. Just sometimes you have to remember, if you're watching this, drop a like. I got a lot of stuff going on the channel. YouTube is just horrible about it. They're like, we just remind people about super chats. And I'm like, yeah, thanks. All right, I'll keep doing that. But yeah, at any rate, I've got a bunch of stuff that's coming into the channel. I think he needs to go ahead. He is asleep. He's completely asleep now. Are you out? Yeah. Let me get my daughter to come pick him up. Oh, you're awake now. You're awake now. Now you're up. Okay. Just checking the other chat stream. So, yeah. He's here. We'll be seeing lots of videos of him. He'll be in the videos. He's going to be the new production assistant. So we'll have that. We've got some stuff coming from QSP that we're going to have on the channel. We got some more stuff coming from Beyond EDC. You know, I've got that I have that new lock. Now, a lot of people were saying that knife you saw in the video today is not the deadlock. It's definitely different. It is different than a standard plunge lock, and it's also different than the deadbolt. There's a lot of differences to it. It is basically a button lock, but it's definitely different. Do you want to go in? Huh? Are you getting antsy sitting in my lap? Oh, hello. Hello. Oh, that's my nose. You're gonna eat my nose. So yeah, we got a lot of stuff. We got a lot of stuff that's coming in. So hopefully the channel is gonna benefit from it. And I finally got my knives ship free affiliate. So what's everybody got in pocket today? You know what I got in pocket? I got a chunk. He weighs, Jesus, he's heavy already. He weighs 16 and a half pounds already. And he's only 8 weeks. You're going to be a big boy, aren't you? Going to be a big boy. He loves chasing cats around. So I will tell you guys, if you want this live feed to go for an hour and a half, the crewware my card at PM2, the chat is going to have to support it. I'm not going to try and Devo Mash 2, the TRM Neutron and Medford Slim Midi. Oh, 2A Dave. Yay. Welcome to the shit show. Yeah. You already had to have a bath twice. I don't want to, I'm not going to ring the bell, Dave, because I don't want to scare him. Are you okay? You okay? You're hot, aren't you? Okay. Here, why don't I put you down? Give me a second, guys. I'm going to put him in the house. Don't pee on the rug again. We had an accident in the house already once. Come on, buddy. Let me take you in. I'll be right back. Hey, he's sniffing like he wants to pee. You might want to put him out. Can you put him out? Okay, he's right there. I'm back. Let me get my headphones on. That's wrong. Let's see here. Okay. 2A Dave. I owe him. Well, I owe him kangaroo flute, but I don't know where it is. We've only had one accident. Like, he did pee on his mat, but he peed where he was supposed to be. So it was okay. He did pee on the rug out here, but that's my fault. It's Chunk from Goonies. Yes, that's why the whole truffle. It's been the whole running gag with the truffle shuffle thing. There you go. 2A Dave. There's your let's see here. Okay, so let me get back up here to Dave's super chat. So Dave, yeah, welcome Chunk to the shit show. He is a very good little puppy. Pees where he's supposed to. He's been peeing outside, except when we kept him too long playing around with him, and he came out here to the garage for the first time, and he peed on just one little spot in the carpet. So let's see here. Got a PM2 in S90V today, but it ruined the DLC finish trying to remove some rust spots. DLC will rust. The new Chavez kickstop. The only thing I'm upset about with that with that Chavez kickstop is it doesn't have a choil. It needs a little bit of a choil for sharpening. The Mash V1 and the Mash 2.0. Let's see. Mark was carrying a Towser K. Welcome to being a paying member, the newest paying member. Gizzard Gary was carrying a CRKT minimalist cleaver on the neck. Oh, I found the magic knife. I found the stealth knife. Allow me to grab it. Since Will said it, I said I was going to put it. I got it dug out. I figured out where it was. So we have the stealth knife back in play. Since I have a CRKT minimalist. And then what is it? Boker USB and Microtech UTX-85 on the desk in front of you. Okay. Yes, the dog was peeing in the house. He only peed. He peed on the puppy mat twice, but that's where he's supposed to. And the rest of the times he's done it outside. Yeah, Chunk from the Goonies. He's not home yet. I know. Echo Mora Companion and XL Beg. My XL Beg letter's in my pocket tonight, and my Mora is out and is over there on the workbench because I had it out showing it to somebody talking about something. Let's see here. Zippo, the fixed blade. The Alabama Damascus fixed blade that I made. Yeah, Robert has that one. Carried the Spyderco UK PL LC200 Rainier Knives Fast Pack fixed blade and a Medford Smooth Criminal. Let's see here. What else we got? Okay, I'm going to tell you right now, very few people are doing DLC on knives. It's not like it's something you can just do in a shop. It's not just something you can do in your garage. It requires specific equipment, vacuum. There's a lot to it. It's not just like, oh, hey, it's not like ceramic coating. So yeah, we're caught up. Oh, there we go. Gizzard Gary and the Civivi mini banter, a Victorinox Swiss Army knife, also with an arm's reach. Okay. Had the Grimson Norseman, the Wee Xiphus Winter Blades Factor, Microtech Stitch Ramlock, Spyderco Manix 2XL, right? Jesus Christ, it's just too much stuff. So yeah. Polly just had his mind in the wrong place. I'm not even going to read all of Will B's stuff. Brent Barney. So at any rate, yeah, I missed a couple days. I had a sinus infection, and so I was on antibiotics, and antibiotics gave me the shits, and I just did not feel like doing live feeds because I was literally sick, running a fever and everything. And then, but I woke up I woke up to go pick the dog up yesterday with the wife, and we got in her car, and she's got a big crack in her windshield. We can't figure out where the fuck it came from. Like there's like a 14-inch crack going all the way up the windshield. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Is it possible to grind the DLC coating off? Yes, it is. But I'm gonna tell you, it's just better just to fucking use it the way it is. Just use it the way it is. It's fine. Like what knife are you talking about? Thomas, I don't buy knives anymore. I'm not allowed to. The only shit you see come in either comes from Jared or comes from companies. I don't have the money because YouTube has kicked all creators in the dick when it comes to income. Most of us have lost between 30 to 50% of our ad revenue. And then on top of that, my wife is like, you're not spending any more money on knives. So no. Asking me if I bought a knife, that's a negative. It's not happening. What knife is it? What knife is it, Zorro? What knife are you looking at spending an exorbitant amount of money on? Mark Ridgewell. Spyderco PM2 and S90. Overpolished DLC trying to remove us now. It's all shiny on one side. Shiny other side. Polish the other side. Polish the other side. Just make it match. Like that's what you're gonna get. You could always stonewash it. You can send it to me, I'll stonewash it. Then I'll have to sharpen it. But I'm just telling you, like, it's not that good a knife anyway. It's just a spider. PM2 is actually a really good knife. I don't think you want to regrind it. They're already pretty thin. Rocky C, Chef Rocky C is in the chat over on the over on Rumble. Will bought a Horizon C today. I've seen the Horizon Cs. I like the Horizon D better. I like my Horizon D a lot better. That would be my advice, is just to polish. So like I said, we have the stealth knife out today. So, but yeah, I saw Jared was talking about some drama between do they still make the Horizon D? Yes, they do. Yes, they do. The best place to find the Horizon D, Mark, is over on the Crane's Cutlery website. So, and the other thing I want to talk about, if you guys have got memberships, if you've gotten gifted memberships, if you have memberships, you guys aren't the new members. No one is following the link to the Gilded server. Like, you're not getting any of the benefit from the paid membership if you're not using that Gilded server. The C has a larger blade. I think it's in great shape. Bought it from somebody I've bought other knives from. Yeah, just hit me up on that. I'm just gonna tell you, it's not gonna get rid of the over polish. It's just gonna make it dull all over, and then I'll have to sharpen it. If you have me stonewash it. So, what do you guys want to talk about? This is an open. This is one of those things. Like, if we're not getting if the chat's not supporting this, I don't have anything to talk about. I got a couple of things that came in. I'm not gonna go back through any of the stuff up there. This came in. I know you guys saw the video. This is that warning button lock. This thing is pretty awesome, and some people are like, "Oh, it's not gonna change." This is a big. No, I'm not doing a movie. Here's the thing. If you guys want to do movies, join the membership. I do movie days there. I'm not going to do that because then I definitely get all of my live feeds are being demonetized anyway. So it's not like it matters, but the fact is, like, then they take them down for copyright, and they just take them down, and then no one watches again. This Mark, Gilded server is one of the benefits for being a paying member. So what the Gilded server is, it's just like, I don't want to have to do this too much. Okay, so I'm just going to put it out. This is one time. It's just like Discord. I put links to it all the time. If you're a member and you're not checking the community tab area where, if you're not checking the community tab where I have members only stuff, you're missing out. I post stuff up for members. I put stuff up for members. That's where you're going to get notified of the, that's where you're going to get notified of movie days and stuff like that, which I haven't done for a while because I've been busy. But, oh, hey.
He's too young. He's too young for treats.
Zorro. Here comes your kangaroo flute.
I bet that even sounds more like a fart that way. Yeah, this thing is great. I don't know yet if you can disassemble this or how to disassemble. I guarantee you can disassemble. There's no spot here for hardware, and I don't want to start taking screws and stuff out of it. until I know exactly. It's got a really cool sound. So the button lock on this is, if I'm thinking of this story, it's like a plunge lock, but it's like donut shape, I guess, is what I'm thinking. But it works just like a regular. It works a lot like, I mean, it works just like a regular other button lock, but it's all in the pivot. His middle name is not Robert. I mean, I can take anything apart. I've got a pry bar. It's apart. Whatever, go back together again. So I don't know if the button is press fit and it's in there. That would bring up some issues. Like that could be an issue. But it's got such really good action. And there's no like stick. Listen to this. Here, let's do this let's do it in the echo chamber. That's not his name. It's Monday. We never do that on Monday. Thomas, we don't do that on Monday, and it's not for everyone. If you guys want, okay, I asked you guys a couple weeks ago when we did a live feed. I was like, hey, your least favorite knives or garbage knives, if you put them up, we'll look them up. And I was like, some of those knives, but there wasn't anything worth like looking up. If you guys want to do that, we can talk, or we can do a video where we just bring up like garbage knives, like garbage knives. I mean, we could always bring up heater knives, but this thing has a unique sound when it closes. It's got like a, hear it? Like it sucks in. And I got to tell you, like it's tight. Like the detent on it, it's tight. It's ground really, really well too. I think that line on there, I think that's a misgrind. I talked about it in the first day in pocket. I think that's just a blemish in the blade. But the grind is done really, really well on this. It has cut really well. I have done some cutting with it. Do you feel like you would accidentally hit the button? I haven't. I mean, it's right there, but I mean, like, most of the cutting I'm doing, because of the way this thing's shaped, it's got that nice curvature to it. Most of the cutting I'm doing, I'm right here. So I don't think you would. Like if you're holding it like this, you're past the button. And if you're holding it back here, you're behind the button. So I don't think so. No, it's not. CRKT deadlock has got layers in it. It's like the CRKT deadlock, when you take it apart, it looks like it's got different plates and layers and stuff in it. Like there's a bunch of different stuff in there. This is different. This is not like the CRKT deadlock. This is more akin to a button lock, but a different configuration. I don't know. So, I mean, I don't think you would run any more risk of hitting this button than you would this button. You know what I mean? If you're up on it, your finger's on the button there. I don't think you would. There's a lot of people. Okay, so there's a lot of things people look at stuff on knives and then immediately they're like, oh, well, what about this? I bet that's an issue. And I'm like, how much does that knife cost? I don't know. Thomas, you know how this channel works. I get stuff in. I don't look anything up. I don't know the price of the knife. I don't know how to take it apart. I don't know anything about it other than this is number 95 of 200. There were only 50 available of those 200. There are 250 more coming. And when I find out when they're available, you will too. That's all I know. But like I said, I don't think that is any more problematic about getting hit. And I mean, it's not like it's easy to push the button. Like you have to like squeeze it. So yeah. I'd be more inclined to say that I mean I've definitely come closer to disengaging the lock on an axis lock by holding it in a pinch grip than I have a button lock. And I've never had my axis lock come completely undone. Like I've never pulled back far enough. Like I've pulled it back enough, like messing with it. You're like, oh, hey, I got some blade play. I think I got up on that. But I have a couple more knives we got to get first stand pockets done on. I have the stuff that came from. What did I get? I had the stuff that came from. I have the stuff that came from Rosecraft. We haven't done a lot of the Rosecraft stuff. Most of it hasn't had first stand pockets. I have a lot of Kaiser stuff that still needs to be done. I have that box of stuff that came from Jared. I have the stuff from Gonzo, the Firebird stuff. And I've got 6 boxes of knives up there from Russell. I got to do the cord. I've had my Para 3 open a few times in pocket because you loosen the pivot too much. Yeah, I have not. But here's the thing. I was watching Big Brown Bear's stream the other day on he was doing a live on Instagram, and I think it was Saturday or Sunday. And I was like, he was talking about S15, or I mean 15V, I mean. And it's not a new steel. It's been around for a while. It was a bowler steel. A bowler Odelholm steel, just like 20 CV or I'm sorry, like M390 and N690 and a bunch of the other steels are coming out of a bowler. So it's not something new. I just think it's the first time it's been like I couldn't stay for the life of you. So yeah, maybe it's not. Maybe that's not the kind of knife for you. There was something I wanted to talk about. Oh, I was talking about so thoughts on MagnaCut? If it's heat treated properly, which the first couple that I got, Thomas, the first couple I got, they were bad. It was garbage. It was hot trash. And I was like, wow, I'm not impressed. And it's because people were heat treating it improperly. So now that the ones I've gotten that have been heat treated properly have been good. The first two I saw were Bowler Odelholm. Bowler Odelholm. There you go. I said it a bunch of times. You're going to drop another 20 for each time I said it. I think we're at like 50. You can't get to 50 counting by 20s, you fucking dummy. Yeah, okay, wait, no, the first knife I got was a Hogue Deca. You're right, Tom. I had a Hogue Deca and it was heat treated improperly. And then I had 2, it sucks too. I had 2 very expensive knives come from an American manufacturer that does a lot of button lock autos. And their name is, it rhymes with Rotec. But they have since fixed that. And that's the thing that just irritated me about the whole thing with that. Hang on a second. The thing that irritated me the most about that, my cord is all tangled up. The thing that irritated me most about that whole MagnaCut thing was absolutely the guy that designed the steel, the guy that came up with the formulation, told people what they should heat treat it at. And thanks, Zorro. The guy that heat treated it, hang on a second, I gave him a wrong button.
Thank you for being my friend. I needed one.
Sorry about that. Gobble, gobble, Papa Smurf. Any rate, not sure. I know exactly which knife you're talking about. Yeah, because I had it here and I sharpened it for a good friend of ours, um, who happens to live not that far from you, and I was not impressed with it. Um, so yeah, Protec screwed some stuff up, but that was the whole thing that irritated me. You've got the guy that came up with the formulation for the steel, and he's not getting listened to. Like, he told people what it should be run at, and they were like, "Nah, we'll run it. We'll run it our way." And he's like, "All right, well, you're just fucking wasting money and coming out with a substandard fucking product." Like, if I had bought that knife, I would absolutely complain. That knife does hit hard, but the problem I have is I think it's going to develop blade play very easily. And you know why? Because steel wasn't heat treated properly, and it's slamming into that stop pin, and it's softer than it should be, and it's going to wear out faster than it should. So Chunk's not out here. He went back in the house. He he was getting anxious, and it's 73 degrees out here, and those lights were. He started panting. He was getting hot. And I don't want to put him down on the floor because, well, I don't want to step in puppy pee here in a little bit and find out that he was out here in the studio and peed on the floor. Never buy a. I have said, okay. There's two things that you will never see me buy. Well, unless I know the makers. One of them is an exception. First production run. If it has first production run stamped on the blade, don't fucking touch it. They're always fucking trash. I've never seen, and it's always the bench-made first production runs. Never, ever, ever, ever. Don't even touch them. First production runs and show knives. Show knives from makers that you don't know 100% comfortably. Like Jim Skelton, I would absolutely buy a show knife from Jim. Bob Terzawola, we've bought several show knives from Bob. There are some exceptions to that. Rexford, absolutely buy a show knife from him. A lot of times what happens is, having been a knife maker, I'll tell you, knife makers have a tendency to like, they work at their own pace, and then as a show is coming up, they jump through their own butthole to try and get stuff done, and a lot of times things get missed. I've talked about it. I've had people bring me a knife at a show. I had a guy bring me a knife at a show. Nico can verify this. I had a guy bring me a knife at a show that he had paid $1,000 almost for, like over $900. And he comes up to me, and goes, "Hey man, I don't want to be pissy. So when like I can you put an edge on this because it's not even sharp?" And I was like, "What?" Procrastination is a lot like masturbation. It's fun at first, but in the end, you're just fucking yourself. He brings me a knife that I have a new gray hair in my mustache, and I can see it very, very clearly. So at any rate, he brings me this knife that had never been edged. Like, it was ground, and it was ground very, very thin. I would like to say it was ground thin behind the edge, but there wasn't an edge. It was just ground thin. And I was like, "No." He goes, "What do you mean you won't do it?" I was like, "Well, I mean, you're going to pay me. You're going to have to pay me a lot more because that's going to take a lot of extra work. It doesn't have an edge at all for me to repair. I have to establish the edge on my stones, which is going to cost you work or some time." You just spent a ton of money on that knife. Like, you go over and you tell him, "What do I think of the blade to handle ratio?" Well, I'm going to tell you right now, you couldn't have put any more blade in those handles. That blade is maybe with the curvature, it's a little weird, but your cutting edge is what you got to look at. It throws it off. It looks funny. Blade to handle ratio is pretty good on it. It's pretty good. When you look at the cutting edge, it just looks weird because it's got that very, very long transition. It's got a very, very, I was answering this question. Sorry about that. Blade to handle ratio. It's got a very long transition, and it's, I can't right now. I've got too many things running right now. I'm not going to try and pull up another screen. I'm not going to try and pull up another screen because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 windows open, and I'm already getting the warning that my internet is slow. If I pull something else up, we'll get kicked off. Send me, hang on a second. Let me look it up. What is it? Oh, that's the one. That's the Ed Calderon one. Yeah, I already seen it. It's a good looking knife. It's a good looking knife. That's the Ed Calderon, Ed's Manifesto, one. Somebody sent me images of it. I like it. It's a pretty good looking knife. I haven't gotten to see one. It looks like a really good knife, and it's going to be one of those ones that's designed because Ed is one of those guys that like everything about it is like self-defense and stuff like that. So I guarantee it's going to be a good one. I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, it does. It just looks weird because the tip is way down in it. Oh, so I broke down. I ran out of my other 3 micron. I ran out of my 3 micron diamond emulsion that I had. I had a spray, and I wasn't real happy with it to begin with. And I'm like, well, I've already got this. I spent money on it. It's lasted a long time. And I got it, and I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna break down. And I got I'm gonna tell you guys, like, I might not be a fan of the Gunny Juice. I'm absolutely a fan. KPL is way better than Gunny Juice, in my opinion. I have not tried the Slickum stuff that OCD for EDC does. I have not tried that, but I have tried the KPL, and I know I like it. I know it's easy to apply, and I know I don't have any worries about like breaking down plastic and things like that in caged bearings. But I've absolutely found that the Gunny Juice, the diamond emulsion, is amazing. And so when I ran out of my 3 micron, I just got some. I tried to use Jared's link on his Amazon page, but they were out of stock. So I went to Gritomatic. It showed up, and I got it. It is the best. That is the best diamond emulsion. I know that Big Brown Bear did a video about it where he was talking about like how the Gunny Juice just continues to keep its tooth and even at the higher grits. So I have the 1 micron, and I have the 3 micron, and I stropped up my Norseman because it had gotten a good bit of use. Holy shit. That is the best diamond emulsion. No, it's not. It's dark brown. It's dark gray. I'll show it to you. Hang on. It's dark gray. And the cool thing is it's in this container, and as you use it, it's got the little pump. As you use it, the container slides up. It doesn't just take the liquid out of it. That part right there will continue to go up. So this is absolutely the best stuff. It does take it a little bit longer to dry than the other stuff I had, but it definitely is easier to apply, and it cuts very aggressively. Like you only need a couple passes. And I mean, like this was probably needing a stone. I was thinking I was gonna have to put on a stone. And so I loaded my rounded strop with it and put it. No, that stuff brought the edge right back up. Gunny also has an OTF lube. I don't like any of the Gunny. I don't like any of the Gunny Glide lubricants. I've tried them. It's not just that it's not just because I like Ryan and I'm just saying that because I want to back his product, KPL. No, I absolutely find the KPL the best. And now that KPL has their ultralight, which is for OTFs, it's great. It absolutely is really, really good. What leather straps would I recommend? I have not bought a leather strap. The leather straps I had, the one I have was a gift from Marla White, one of the YouTube subscribers. I did a video about it way back in the day. I have just a razor strap that I use. It's just a straight leather razor strap. One side is finished and one side is rough. And I got to turn off some of the stuff that's using the internet. So yeah, I haven't bought a strap. I mean, here's the thing. A strap isn't that big a deal. My strap that you guys used to see in my videos that was on the piece of 2x6 that was T-shaped, I made that out of an old belt. It doesn't have to be anything special. Like it's not like you have to have a special kind of leather. Now, I do have an expensive leather strap that I got for straight razors, and one side is kangaroo leather, and then it's got a separate felt. And I use the felt on that a lot of times on knives. Like S90V works really well on a felt strap and things like that. So, if I was going to recommend anyone, I would reach out and see if Alex Garland has started doing his stuff yet over at Outdoors 55 and see if he's got straps available yet. Because his straps that I've seen look really good from what I've seen of them. So, the problem you have is stropping a recurve. And that's why I like the one that I have. And it was made by someone. How often do I load the strop? How often do I load the strap? It just depends. If it's really looking like it's really shiny and it doesn't feel like it did anything, then I'll reload it. Hang on a second. I'm pausing the internet on a couple things. River's Edge Cutlery got some straps in. So I'll show you, like, this is what I'm gonna recommend so that you can just like a one-stop everything in one strap. This is what you want to look for. Something that looks like this. This was sent to me, like I said, by Marla White. And the nice thing about this is it's two-sided. So really all you need to do, like you can do this yourself. You can get a piece of good leather and a piece of wood and you round it and then you just wrap the leather around it and leather glue it on, like contact cement it on. The nice thing about this one, it's a paddle strap. And I don't know. I like my micro tracks and I haven't ever got to see an axial gear, Thomas. So I don't honestly have an answer for you on that one. So nice thing about this is some knives, I do have some knives, some steels that work way better with aluminum oxide, especially like SM100, which I still do SM100 for my friend and for guys that have SM100 knives that Elliot made. I still do sharpening on those for them. And that absolutely does not like the diamond emulsion. So this side of it is loaded with aluminum oxide. And then this side is loaded with the diamond. And you see how it's shined up a little bit? Now, that doesn't mean that it's not working. That just means that I've used it. Now, when it gets to where it just doesn't feel, like it's doing anything. Like you do a couple passes and it just doesn't feel it. Then you reload. If you're using aluminum oxide, every time you use it, you should reload it. The diamond emulsion lasts a good bit longer. Now, the other thing I have blocks of pine with a thin piece of balsa wood on top that's glued down. And I've loaded those with diamond emulsion and those work really well too. So, N690. It's N690 and it's a really good steel. What are you doing? What's so funny? My daughter's about to tell me something.
I was playing with him and I was laughing at the fact that because I had his toy and he was like going at it, and I was laughing so hard. Hold on, let me turn my phone on.
She's gonna show us doggy stuff.
Do I just go like this? Okay.
Yeah.
I think I should show you first.
You can put it up there. I'll still be able to see it.
So hold on, I need to find the area. Oh wait, I snorted, but I have to turn the brightness down. So I was laughing. Hold on,
What are you doing?
I need to start it over because I was laughing at that because he was going so aggressively.
Yeah.
And
You should have get the Oh no! Oh no!
Is he chasing the cat?
Oh God!
Was he humping the cat?
did you see the end? He got like punched like 8 times.
Oh yeah, the cat just knocked the crap out
No,
of him.
but it's like so funny because the
Sorry.
oh, there.
The cat was like, the cat's not scratching him. The cat's just oh hey. BWD asked a question and I answered it, and I don't even know what the question was. Yeah, so with something that's going to be like the diamond is always going to be more abrasive. It's just that it gets down in further and it starts to get like pulled out of the strap and it gets pushed down in and it's not as good. Aluminum oxide or anything that's not the aluminum oxide will kind of break down and it loses its sharp points. So it doesn't. Every time I use it, like the next time I use this, I will reload the aluminum oxide on that. So there you go. That's your answer. And then, like I said, with the diamond, the nice thing about the diamond emulsion is you can just take a wet rag and wipe it off. Some people are like, oh, use olive oil on your strop and then you strop. I don't recommend that because it makes the leather a lot softer. And then the oil impregnates and it prevents whatever you're using from sticking to the leather. You want your leather basically to be pretty raw. The only exception to that would be like I have a razor strop that is just bare leather and I never load it. That one I do oil. Because I'm not trying to load anything into it. I'm just letting the natural silicates that are in the leather. So leather has natural silicates and stuff in it from the tanning. So does wood. That's why paper works. That's why balsa wood, bare balsa wood will work. Natural materials have silicates in it that will help you reestablish that edge. Newspaper works really well because they use a ceramic mud to bind the fibers together. That's why, like I say, AR-RPM 9 does better on AR-RPM 9 will strop better on newspaper than anything else. It will. If you just use a piece, like 2 pieces of newspaper wrapped around a wooden block, just to give it a little bit of cushion on AR-RPM 9, that is the best strop you're going to get for that. Like in my opinion, all the testing I've done with it, because they sent me my knives and AR-RPM to test the steel because they were like, do you want this in that steel? And BWD, here's your. So the wood has natural silicates in it. That's why you can strap on cardboard and stuff like that. That it's abrasive enough. Like typically, if something is abrasive enough to make a knife dull by cutting it, then it's going to be abrasive enough to strop it. It's just, it works both ways. If it's abrasive enough to make the knife dull, you can use it as a strop. So, the balsa wood, I had one that was bare. That's now it was a bare balsa wood strop. I would use it. And then I just loaded it with 3. Here's the thing that I don't like Thomas is, I was just getting ready to say that. Now there are some of your razor strops, the cheaper razor strops that come with a canvas, like a fire hose piece. I don't recommend those. And I'll tell you why, because they're really coarse. And what they can do is, if there's any burr and it breaks off, it really gets lodged in there And then you've got something that's now acting and it's scratching up and it's screwing up your finish, especially if you're trying to get more of a polished finish. The felt does not do that anywhere near as badly. And plus, I take a brush. I have a brush that I brush the felt with, and it cleans that out. The felt is not as aggressive. It's not as hard on it, and it's tighter knit. And I think you get I've never had a good experience. I've never had one of those work well, if that makes sense. So, but yeah, you can load the balsa wood. It takes the nice thing about the balsa wood is it absorbs the diamond down into it, and so it holds up longer. And so it's easy to clean. You just take a paper towel and you wipe it off, and you can do that a couple times with the. I'll grab my balsa wood one. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So over time, I don't use a 0.3 anymore. So you see how that, or 0.5 anymore. You see how that says 0.5? This is 1 micron, and you can see it's really dark and it's shined up. Now that area it's shined up, I can wipe that down with a paper towel, and it'll get rid of that shine. And I still have good diamond in there. And as I load it, I keep getting more in there. So you can see how dark that one is. I just loaded this one for the first time, and it's nowhere near as dark. You see what I'm saying? Yes, I've sharpened Rex 121 and Maximet. And yes, I will sharpen them, but it absolutely fucking costs extra. So, but you're right. It kind of does act like a honing steel. But it's really not that great for your edge. It's really not. It can deform your edge, especially on like a thinner knife, like a kitchen knife, something that's really thin. I love the felt. That strop that I have over on my workbench, and you probably saw me pull it up when we did the sharpening video where I did that big long 4-hour sharpening on those kitchen knives. That was that did come with one of those pieces that looked like a piece of garden hose or fire hose, and I threw it away. I use the rough side of the leather, raw, bare. I didn't load it for the initial strop, and then if I'm gonna do a final strop, I've got the loaded side, which is always loaded with the 3 micron. I don't recommend a lot of material. Like there's a lot of metals, I like a lot of steels that I do not recommend trying to take to 0.5 micron. 0.1 micron is just insane. Like that's too much. 3 micron is about 8,000 grit. That's about where it winds up being. If you look at the conversion, 3 microns is about 8,000 grit. That works really well for a lot of steels. Like I said, it worked great for this. This is now really, really sharp. Back up. Now that I have that really good 3 micron, I can go a long time before I have to sharpen this again, which is a good thing because it's a very expensive knife, and it's going to be Zorro. Deer hide works really well. But it's always good to have a finished side and then an unfinished, so like a suede side, like the rough side inside, and then the smooth side that you load. Because you can get away with not using the loaded side for anything if you know, depending on steel. And one of the other things you're going to notice on your strop is even though it might be dark, you'll see that it gets darker. That doesn't mean that your diamond is worn out. What that means is you've now loaded that area. And so it's a good idea to just take a damp rag and wipe it down a little bit, let it dry, and then reload it. Zoroaster 305, Zoroaster 305. What do you want? What do you want from me, Zorro? So, but yeah, I'm really impressed with this so far. And like I said, I was talking with the guy from the company, David, from Beyond EDC. They are based in Texas. By the way, while this knife was made in China, like a lot of other American companies that can't afford to have manufacturing in the United States, but you don't understand because American Blade Works, their knives are coming out pretty affordable. And who else was it? Oh, TCal knives, you can get a custom TCal knife for like starting at $200. So like everybody's like, well, Benchmade, like this and that. And I'm like, don't give me that shit. American Blade Works, TRM knives. And it's not so much the price. Like I'll pay that price. I would pay that butterfly tax. See, now I'm going to start on it again. I'll pay that fucking butterfly tax if the knife is fucking worth it. Fool me once, shame on you. Or fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I'm not falling for it anymore. Like there's companies that are putting out better quality at the same price. That's all I want. Like I would pay $300 for a knife. Like I would pay $300 for a Benchmade if I got a $300 knife. If I bought a TRM Shadow, I'm getting a $300 knife. I'm paying $300 for it. I'm getting the quality I would expect. That TRM Shadow was everything that Benchmade should be doing. So good. That the drop bear. The drop bear. Everybody's like, well, you know, you're using the Uyghurs. I'm like, here's the thing. There are American companies that are putting out a product that is as good as Benchmade at a lower price. And there are companies that are putting out a product at the same price as Benchmade that are the quality that Benchmade knives should be. And I have seen some of the gold class knives and they are fucked up. I saw a Benchmade gold class and I'm like, the edge on it was all asymmetrical. I was like, how does a $1,200 knife leave the factory with an asymmetrical edge? This is a $300 knife and it came out of the factory. And if you had given this to me without markings and told me this was a custom knife, I'd fucking believe you. Benchmade has lost their mind. You're absolutely right. My buddy bought an Anthem for $400. And I was like, well, it's a good knife. It's not worth $400. And he goes, well, I paid $400 for it because I had a law enforcement discount. I was like, wait, that's what the discount? He goes, yeah. I was like, how much? He was like, it's like $7 something regular price. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. So yeah, Thomas, you're right. Their prices are insane and their fit and finish is garbage. And then the second you point it out, oh boy, I'm gonna stop doing it. The next time I put out one of those controversial videos, I'm gonna save some of the comments. And I'm gonna do it in members only video because I can't do it as a regular video because then I get the copyright or I get the privacy strikes for calling out someone's comments. Did you guys know that? So if I go into the comments section, if I go into comments that people put publicly up on my channel and I call them out in a video, I get a privacy strike for calling out those individuals. I was like, they made the comments on my fucking channel. So I can't show like the channel. I can't show the username. Have I tried Kaiser's LMAX? I have. I forget which knife it was. Hey, Parker, how you been? I can't remember which knife it was, but their LMAX was all right. I mean, LMAX is usually good, period. There was that big stink back in the day. There was a lot of people that were like, oh yeah, the LMAX is garbage. And the heat, it wasn't ever the heat treat. It was, there might've been a couple that were heat treat. Most of it was the edge grind sharpening. And they overheated the edge. LMAX is really, really picky about that. But I've never had LMAX that was badly heat treated. I've really never had bad LMAX, except maybe, and I can't remember which one it was. There was one that stayed soft. So I'm a Benchmade fanboy, not buying as many because the price got nuts, but I did get the SHOT Show exclusive bailout and the Blade West was bent, so I sent it back for replacement. Oh, and the blade was bent. Oh, I thought I don't have my reading glasses on. Sorry. I thought CRKT had ridiculous, or Chris Reeve Knives had ridiculous price bench. Here's the thing: Chris Reeve Knives, their pricing has stayed pretty much standard. Like the only thing they had to account for was a little bit of inflation. Chris Reeve Knives have been around the $400 mark for a very long time. I think they're more now. But like for the money. But here's the thing. Back to what I was saying. I paid $410 for this, but I got a $410 knife. These are $240 now. And I've got a fucking $119 knife in my case that's better. You see what I'm saying? Like, I would pay. If this knife was a $240 knife, I'd pay it. But it ain't. So many problems with this. This has so much blade play and everything. And and somebody was like, well, you're going to try flipping your washers. And this, I was like, get the fuck out of here. I did everything I could. I marked where everything went. Most of them come off center, especially the carbon fiber ones. They come off center. They come misground. It just doesn't make sense to buy a Benchmade anymore. It doesn't. It just does not. Exactly. 21. I like the 21. Mine's a 21. I've had it for years. I had a Benchmade that was in BG42. And I bought it when it was just the Sabenza. And then they got rid of that, started making the 21s. For a while, it was called the Classic. That's how long I had mine. I had it forever. And then I sold mine, the original one that I had, and wound up regretting it and bought the one that's in my case. My live stream was just glitchy. Well, I can't do anything about it. It depends. Like if you guys was it glitchy for everyone or was it? MASH 2.0 is better for $135. I believe it. I believe it. My Benchmade 940 has so much play, but then I bought an old 940. It doesn't matter. The new ones are bad too. I do not like pit bulls. I'll tell you guys that right now. I've seen too many. Everybody's like, oh, it's the owner. No, I've seen good owners that have pit bulls that just fucking lose their shit. Not saying they all are. I mean, you might have some good ones, Alice, but don't expect me to be petting your pit bulls if I ever see you at a show. I just don't like them. Don't like them, and I don't trust them. For some unknown reason, every Benchmade 940 made after 2012 has had issues as bad blade grinds, unfixable blade play, and axis bar lock that would get stuck on. I've never had mine get stuck. But mine absolutely has blade play. And the other thing it has on the original blade, on this S90V blade, it's not anywhere near as perceivable because it's kind of stonewashed. But on the actual blade, on the S30V blade, the finish is inconsistent. One side is ground with a coarser abrasive than the other. So the satin is different from side to side. And it's very perceptible. I would have to take some pictures of it and show you guys, but this side and this side is a much finer grit than this side. It's like somebody did a 120 on this side and a 220 on this side. It is absolutely different from side to side. That's what they always used to say about that. That's what they used to say about Dobermans. Like their head stops growing and their brain keeps growing. No, I won't. I don't like any of the Benchmade 940s with the carbon fiber because the action on them is bad. First of all, they're all off center. Like every one of the Benchmade 940s I've seen with carbon fiber scales has been off center. And you can't fix it. You cannot straighten it. I've tried to fix Nico's. I've tried to fix a couple other people's. I don't like the what was that? That was the Benchmade 940-2. I don't remember, or 940-1. I would never have one. Yeah, there you go. There you go. I would pay $300 for a Hogue Ritter. but you don't have to because they're not that expensive, and it's better. Panzer. So you guys that are members and you're not utilizing the Gilded server, we've got a membership from Panzer's in New Zealand. There's a couple other guys. There's one in Australia, one in actually there's a couple guys from Australia. There's one guy from Canada. He's a little crazy. We just kind of like, anybody understand what he's talking about? No, not really. Speak of the devil. I think you kicked me from the. I don't think I did. I probably did a while back. You probably need to sign back up because you canceled your membership. Allow me to check for you. So I'll show you guys if you guys are interested. That's what I would actually rather you guys do. If you guys are dropping super chats, that's great. I love it when you guys drop super chats. It's always cool. But what you could do that would be absolutely better and benefit the channel every bit as much is to join the Gilded server. So if you look here, this is the Gilded server. It looks just like Discord. These are all different chat rooms, and every one of those means that somebody has dropped a thing or dropped a chat in them. I think I kicked you when I cleaned. No, you're in there. Parker, Rocky Top Customs, you are in there, and you've been granted access to all of them. Matter of fact, I'm sending you a DM right now. I don't know why. I don't know what. I got your DM. If you got removed, nope, you're in there. Yeah, we even let Robert on Gilded. Okay, I'm going to tell you guys something about. So there's been a lot of people complaining about CGRB's customer service. They absolutely blew up. When they launched the Pyrite and the Echo and a couple of other knives, absolutely blew up. And it's no excuse. It is absolutely no excuse. They don't have the manpower right now to support the amount of orders that they are getting. So on top of that, everyone's on vacation for like the next week. So if you're having issues with it, they're supposed to have it's like a 3-day, it's a 3-day window. So the problem is a lot of people will contact and they'll drop an email and they expect an immediate response. It's not like that. They have 72 hours to respond to any customer service email. What is FWIW? I don't even know what FWIW is. So I don't know what that is. No. So the return address that you're getting from it's a warehouse in Texas. So their warehouse is in Texas. Now if you get something, if Russell happens to respond or Russell takes care of you for something, like say you reached out and then Russell's like, I got it, I'll take care of it. I have that knife here. I'll take care of it. Sometimes he'll send stuff out, but I'm going to tell you right now, their warehouse is in Texas and it's a warehouse, not a house. So but yeah, if you contact them, they have 72 hours to respond. So not that I'm white knighting for CGRB. I know their US rep from CGRB. I know the folks from CJRB. I talk to them pretty regularly because uh, it's tied with Artisan fairly closely, even though Artisan is an American company, CJRB isn't. Um, that's the thing. So Terramundi is part of um, Terramundi is part of Beyond EDC, which is an American company in Texas that has their stuff made in China. So it's kind of the same thing. It's not made in the same warehouse in the same factory as Artisan and CGRB, but it's made in the same city, I guess you'd say. Most of the knife making is all done in one city. So this thing is great. This thing is great. Now, like I said, I don't know how to do a disassembly on it. And then like this is possibly one of the best knives that has come in a very long time. I'm not going to put it on the list for knife of the year. I mean, it's up there. It still doesn't beat the Echo. The Echo just hits so many little wickets that it's right here. I have the prototype. I have the prototype Echo with thumb studs still. And it's an amazing, amazing knife. That's another company that has really good customer service. And people complain, oh, Olight's garbage and this and that. And I was like, I hear people talk about customer service from some of these companies. And I was like, here's the thing. Like, have you actually reached out and talked to them? Like, I hear a lot of people talk shit about customer service on different companies. And I'm like, bro, I've used their customer service. And it was spot on. But yet there are like the Benchmade guys are like, well, Benchmade has a great warranty. I was like, I disagree. Nico has sent several knives back for issues, telling them exactly what the issue is. And they send it back. And the one thing he asked them not to do on a couple of those knives, because I had just finished sharpening them, he's like, there's an issue here and the centering was off. And he had one that on the liner, there was a piece of metal sticking up, like a spur of metal sticking up on the jimping on the liner on one of his knives for the liner lock. And he sent it back, and that's the only thing he wanted fixed on it. And on the note, he specifically said, the only thing that just whatever you do, don't sharpen the knives. And what happened? They didn't fix any of the stuff that he listed on the complaint form. And they did sharpen the knives. Badly, at best. So I know a lot of people I'm like, I've had issues with some like the companies up there is like, well, this company's got such a great warranty. I was like, I don't think so. And I don't like their customer service. Back in the day, Microtech. Whoa, I loved Microtech knives, but good God, if you had to I had a whale shark that I had to send into them. I did not think I was ever going to get that knife back. And it was like, you would call them and it was just a black hole. Like you never got an answer. Ever. Like you'd call their customer service, you'd call and call and call and call. And I'm like, when are they open? You'd call and all you'd get was a message like, our current hours are da, da, da. I was like, I'm in those hours. And you try to leave a message and it was like, after the beep. And then it would just hang up and you're like, what the fuck? For what it's worth. I don't know what those, I'm 49. I don't know what those acronyms stand for. So Artisan, you will get a chance that it's going to come from the owner of the company up in Chino. Like I will tell you that the owner of the company lives just up the road here, a few hours in Chino Hills. And if you got a knife, like if you got something from them and it was sent out as a replacement, you probably did get it from a residence because that is the company owner that takes care of a lot of that stuff. Or it could have been another residence, which is the shipping address, which is like a residential address. But yeah, Microtech used to be horrible about customer service back in the day. Literally the worst. It was, I sent my whale shark in and I waited and I expected to hear something back and I didn't hear anything back and I didn't hear anything back and I didn't hear anything back. And I was like, what in the fuck is going on? So I started calling and I called and I called. I was still working for the government. I worked and I called and I called and I called and I called. And I never got an answer. I would get up at 3:00 in the morning to try and call them at 6. And then I would call on my way to work, and I would call from work. And so it was becoming an issue. And so my Carta, Zorro, you don't even have to ask that. It's my Carta. And I finally got a hold of them, and they're like, what was the serial number on it? I was like, I don't know. Like, I called you, I sent it to you guys with the way to do it. And I was like, I got an email when it showed up, and she's like, I don't know where that knife is at. And I was like, you guys had my knife forever. And then one day it just showed up. And I was like, fuck me. So my Carta. I love my Carta. It's probably if I had to pick a handle material and only have one handle material for the rest of all my knives, I would say my Carta. Like good micarta. Like that. I like the coarser micarta. I don't like it as polished. I mean, polished micarta looks good. It's not as functional. So was trying to give you talking points. Yeah, and I just talked about it. I don't like carbon fiber, to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you, okay, I have an unpopular opinion. I don't like Damascus. And I don't like Damascus anymore. I'm over the whole Damascus steel. I've had enough Damasteel and stuff knives come through that I'm like, it's really not that good. It's not any better. RWL 34, it's the same thing as Damascus. As Damasteel, I mean. It's the same thing. Damascus, I'm like, it's gaudy. And it looks like crap, and you have to be able to like refinish it. And to refinish it, you got to sand it down every time. I don't know if you've ever, like I've done Damascus. And if you don't get the heat coloring the way you want on Damascus, it's not like you just take it real quick and, wipe it off and start over. You don't just put it on the buffing wheel. No, you got to sand it, because guess what? It's not flat anymore. So you got to sand it flat. I don't like it. Carbon fiber. I like some touches of carbon fiber. Like I like a carbon fiber inlay. And that's almost too much carbon fiber, if you wanted the truth. It does lighten this significantly. But I'm over all those things. Like a touch of anything is fine. I would never buy a full dress knife anymore. I would never buy a full Damascus knife. Pivot collar, maybe. But I'm telling you right now, I like those red. Has this one got it? I like that. You give me a good looking red pivot collar, I'm happy. I don't need those high end fucking things. Like that. I like a little pop of it, maybe. I don't think I would even want a Damascus pocket clip, and I don't like carbon fiber very much. There are some knives it works very well in, and it can look good. This knife is great in carbon fiber because it's super, super light. It just almost disappears. I'm not buying any knives. I haven't bought any of these knives. None of these knives you see have been purchased. I didn't buy this. Sanford gave me this. I didn't buy this. Eric Oakes gave me this. But if I had to pick and only get material, yeah, it would be that. Like I would never, like, if I was buying a knife. Let me rephrase that. If I was buying a knife, it wouldn't be anything in Damascus. It wouldn't be anything in Damasteel. All these knives you're seeing, I didn't buy any of these. Some of these were gifts. Eric, yeah, I would. I mean, I wouldn't. If I had the money, if I was buying knives, I still would. Like if I was independently wealthy and could buy anything I fucking wanted, I still wouldn't buy I still would not buy a full dress knife. This is a great little knife. If you guys have not tried the Oaks Works Lantra, you're definitely missing out. Real Boss. Same carbon fiber inlay or backspacer. I'll tell you what I really liked. I'm going to tell you right now. I really liked the that petrified fish Havrog. The petrified fish Havrog had micarta scales, micarta backspacer, and micarta thumb studs. And I was like, that was great. Like, that looked better to me done that way. Especially the way that the micarta was cross-cut and you can see the grain in it and the thumb studs. That looked better to me than a lot of really expensive knives that have come through. For $1,000? Right there. I do have to say, there's another knife that's up there with this. And it's the Brown Knives Cortex. The Brown Knives Cortex is on the same level to me as my Grimsmo Norseman. Like, I would be like, yeah, I'd pay $1,000 for that knife. It is such a great, great knife. I don't like the new Brown Knives button lock thing that he's got. I'm not a big fan of it. The knife just kind of, it's a good knife. And I know that it's just because it's so light. It just felt cheap to me. I can't remember the name of it. It's the big one with the button lock thingy on it. And it pinches. It does pinch a lot. And so I'm like, that one, I'm like, no, that would be a no for me. But the Brown Knives Cortex, fuck, that's a good knife. Like, I'd heard people talking about brown knives, and I'd try a couple. I'd tried a couple of the like the first one, the drop point, and I was like, yeah, no, it's okay. And I got the Cortex, and I was like, fuck, that's a good knife. The FSD, yeah. It's a good knife. Don't get me wrong, and it's a great knife. Are you talking about a custom Pena? Are you talking about a custom Pena? Because if you're talking about a custom Pena, as much as I like Jack Wolf knives, and I like the guy that owns the company, the Pena is going to kick a fucking Jack Wolf in the dick. A custom Pena, fucking good. That's up there with like fucking Bill Ruppel, like a master knife maker, compared to as good as the Jack Wolf knives are. They're not going to beat a custom Pena. They're not going to beat a Ruppel. Like, Bill Ruppel makes custom handmade slip joints. They're amazing. Enrique makes some sick ass custom fucking slip joints. Elliot was Enrique asked Elliot if he wanted to do a collab one time. And Elliot was like, yeah, but he's like, I don't think I'm gonna do it because he only makes slip joints. And he goes, I just like, I don't think that's gonna have a big enough following to do like a collab. And then he sees how big Enrique's stuff has gone. And he absolutely said, he's like, fuck, I should have done that collaboration when I was still doing collabs. He's like, that would have been fucking great to get in on the ground. I was like, I fucking told you Enrique's shit was fucking fire. So you guys ask me this all the time. I'm going to tell you once again. To tell you the truth,
I don't know, and I don't fucking care.
I know it's important to some people. Like, who's the OEM? I honestly don't give a fuck. I don't give two shits about anyone's OEM. Like, somebody was like, oh, who's the OEM for the Jim Skelton knife? And I didn't look at the bottom of the case because I didn't care. It's Tuya, but everybody's like, oh, it's Kubi. I was like, no, it's not fucking Kubi. I know that for a fact. And I knew it was somebody I knew. So generating content. Yeah, to tell you the truth, do not. That is the last thing I give a shit about, to tell you the truth. It's cool if I know, like I know that Riat did these and Riat does great work and it definitely shows on these on all of these uh Oaks knives. Have I handled? Yes, I have, and I do not like the Spyderco Caribbean. And I will tell you, the Caribbeans that I have handled all had the same issue. So the Spyderco Caribbean, right? It comes down the scales and it's got the it's got the lanyard hole back at the back. It's got a tube. There's a steel tube that runs through your lanyard hole at the back. And all three of the Spyderco Caribbeans that I've had come in came in for sharpening, and they asked me if I could remove that tube because the blade smacked into it and put a big nick in the blade. Every one of them. And I just don't like it's not a great knife. It's not a great knife for me. It's a well-made knife. The Spyderco Caribbean's actually one of their better made knives. So I don't know if they do, because when I had Ben on the show, he was kind of talking about that not being Riat. So Jake Hoback. Fuck Jake Hoback. Screw Jake Hoback. Jake Hoback is a piece of shit, and he knew that he was fucking leading people along and that his knives were made, well, a lot of his knives were made in China. And like, I don't care if he had my knives made in China. But through a lie of omission, he let vendors sell those knives as American made, which is exactly what he did scream and holler about when Jason Browse was doing that. When he was having, Jason Browse was having parts made in China and was doing assembly and fit up stateside, mid-tech style. So like Elliot was having stuff made. Elliot was having stuff machined, like parts machined here in San Diego. Those parts, well, he got the titanium done with a local place here called SDPM. They would do his scales, and then he'd have the blades blown out by Niagara for water. Actually, he'd have the steel come in. There was a water jet place local that he'd take him to, have them blown out, and then the blades went off to get double disc ground. And then he got all his hardware and everything. So all of his parts are coming stateside, and then he would assemble the knives. That's exactly what Elliot was doing. That is like mid-tech. And then Jason Browse was doing that same thing, but he was having the parts manufactured offshore so that he could offer a better price. And then he was doing all of the edge grinds and finish work and the assembly and all that stuff here stateside. Now, he did have some 100% Chinese made models, and he stated that. But Jake Hoback went fucking ape shit and led the charge and almost ruined Jason Browse's business. And then he turns around and does something even worse than anything Jason Browse thought about doing. Yeah, those tubes, you don't need them in there. If you have got one of those Spydercos and it's got that tube through there for the lanyard, get rid of it. There's two ways to do it. You can take it apart and pull the thing out and then put the knife back together, or you can just open the knife up and take a jeweler's saw and just cut it off, and then take a file and file it flat inside. You don't need that tube. And if you've got a knife that may have some QC issues like Spyderco or Benchmade, and that knife slams shut, you might hit the tube. I saw somebody answer right. Yeah, Arrowhead guys, Riat does not make Jack Wolf knives. They made his first protos, but he couldn't agree to a schedule for delivery. So there you go. I was pretty sure, like he was very, very clear when I was pretty sure he was quite clear that Riat does not make, because I asked him, and he goes, no, it's not Riat. I was like, okay. I don't trust anybody that puts a Bible verse on fucking anything. And I'm going to tell you why. I grew up in an area of the country that is called the Bible Belt. We still had cotillion. My grandfather, one time when we had a girl staying over, came down and threw a fit because I wasn't sleeping on the couch, and my grandmother was standing there shaking her head, and my grandfather was saying stuff. And my grandfather told me, he's like, "You come up home and it be like that." And I was like, "Grandpa, times changed." He's like, "The red words in the Bible ain't changed none." And I was like, I have words in the Bible ain't changed. And I'm like, all right, I ain't got no argument for that one. The same old man that I caught him pouring engine oil around the base of the house to keep ants from coming in. I was like, "Grandpa, you can't just pour, you change the oil in the tractor." He's pouring all this engine oil along the base of the fucking foundation of the house to keep ants out. And I was like, "Grandpa, you can't just pour engine oil in the ground." And he goes, "Why? Came out the ground, didn't it?" And I was like, "Fuck, I give up. I quit arguing with this old man." So that's where I grew up. And I can spot an evangelist, like the guys that ride through into camp and they're handling the snakes and they're drinking the strychnine, them fucking false prophets. I can spot one of them motherfuckers in a heartbeat. And I got the televangelist fucking church tent fucking evangelist fucking vibe from him the second I met him. And then I was realized he put fucking Bible verses on his knives. I was like, "Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah." I got that whole vibe. Tent preacher. I fucking want to get a plug. Yeah, the tritium. Okay, now somebody asked me a question here. What about Trigicon? I don't have one. You know why I don't have one? Because they got Bible verses on there. I don't buy anything that has a Bible verse on it. If you put a Bible verse on your product, it is a guarantee that I will not buy it. And it's not because I'm not religious. I'm very religious. And that's the problem. You're using God to try and sell me a product. And I believe that that's fucking wrong. So, guys, we did an hour and a half here. If you are currently watching, there's 29 people here. I have got, can't tell how many people are over here. I have 2 people watching me on Rumble. I am going to put up a link to the Rumble side of the house, and I will meet all of you guys over there. Thoughts on Elijah Isham? Elijah Isham was a really good friend of mine, and it's been a year since he passed. I have a couple of his knives here at the house that were his personal ones that will probably never go anywhere. Elijah was a great, great dude. He was also very troubled, and it was kind of sad that he wound up shuffling off this mortal coil. I loved Elijah. I loved all of our conversations. I loved getting to spend time with him, and I absolutely hope that he's in a better place because he was a great, great, great dude to know and be friends with. There was a lot of fucking interesting conversations that I had, just weird times. You know who else I miss? I miss Matt up at Continue Mission, CMFTW. Another guy that passed away those were both guys that I know, like 2:00 in the morning when I can't sleep. I guarantee I'd text them and they're like, "Hey man, what's up? You need to talk?" And I'd be like, "Yep." So this was Elijah's personal knife, and he gave it to me. And you see it's still here. Even though I know I need money, I just can't. I have somebody that's willing to buy this from me for more than I could get from it anywhere else, because they were also a very good friend of Elijah's, and I just cannot bring myself to sell it. So at any rate, what I was saying was, if you would like to meet me over here on my Rumble channel, we may talk about things that are no topics for YouTube. So we'll head over there. Go check out the channel sponsors here. I think I'm gonna take the Dollstrong off. No one has used my Dollstrong link for a very long time. So I think that's what we're going to do. I will meet you guys over there. I'd like to see all 26 of you over there. And it's time to say, screw you, YouTube. We're going to go have an uncensored conversation. So, guys, meet me over there. Like I said, here is the link to the Rumble side, and I'll see you over there in a few minutes. Let's go ahead and screw you, YouTube.